Hey jazz heads, so I just got delivered one of these. So I just got sent one of these by the kind people at pTrumpet and Warwick Music. This is a new pTrumpet, which is a plastic trumpet. So let's get it open. So, oh wow. So it comes in a really smart gig bag actually. Nice pTrumpet branding on it. Nice little pocket there. Oh look, you get free music with it and everything. Gig bag straps in there and really smart mouthpiece case with just a generic 7C mouthpiece. Brass mouthpiece for it this time. They used to come with plastic ones. Let's get this open and have a look. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the pTrumpets, these are like the same brand as the P-Bone. So they're made of plastic, so they're really, really super lightweight and really great for kids. Wow, look at that great smart case. And then, oh my word, this is like, it feels really weird. Oh my God. It like feels like some seats to the weight of a bell. So yeah. Oh man. So there's bits of brass on it this time. One of the things they found with the original runs of these was they had everything with plastic, including the valves, and they were a bit naff. This time there is a brass mouth pipe receiver. The valves have got aluminium tops, and you'll see they are normal trumpet valves with a black plastic top. Okay, it's still sprung inside as well. So the valves are hopefully a little bit better than the ones that came on the original pTrumpets. So I've gone for it in a black. Yeah, I've got it in a black colour. They do it in like a fake brass colour and a fake silver colour as well, but I thought black's going to look way cooler. Nice branding on the bell. Now, let's get on to the business of playing it. We've got the slightly tuning slide, really short actually. Well, that is really short. Obviously, you play really in tune. You better not be too flat, otherwise you can't go very far. Slides are all nicely greased for me. Second thing comes all the way off as well. There's no hook on the first valve, but there's still a hook there and a pinky hook there. I can't remember the exact price of these. Hold on, let me look it up. So they look like they're going for about just under the £200 mark. So I've got the weird scenario where the mouthpiece I'm about to put in it is possibly worth double the amount as the trumpet. But there we go. First notes on it. Let's have a play. Not too bad. It blows pretty decently for something that's made out of plastic. One of the main problems we had before with the old pTrumpets was that between C and G, it was really, really flexible on intonation, which is rubbish for when you're starting the trumpet anyway. It's still a little bit wishy-washy. But there's a much better, much more defined slot on them this time. Yeah, it slots more like a normal horn. You don't get the resonance, obviously. You can feel the thing kind of buzzing and vibrating in your hands. I don't know how much tone you get. Let me plug in my other one and see how it compares for your ears. You can kind of feel it doesn't feel like you're projecting as much on it. But I mean, the thing is absolutely ridiculously light. I mean, really, really stupidly light. Weighs less than my bucket mute. Well, no, it plays with a mute in it. not very well. It's quite hard in the mute. So I'm going to take this to all my students and let them have a go and see what they think of it. So it's London Jazz Festival at the moment as well, which is one of the busiest weeks of the year for jazz musicians in the UK. It's a really great week, always at the end of November. Next year, get your tickets, get down. But anyway, so last night I went to a great gig at one of my favourite clubs, the Spice of Life, and I saw the Patchwork Jazz Orchestra, who were awesome. Off to see a few more pupils now, see what they think of the pTrumpet. Okay, so we're halfway through the week now, and the pTrumpet has been to half of my students, half to go. Consensus amongst them seems to be that they really like it. They really love the colour, and one thing which I really didn't expect to happen, almost exclusively, they found it easier to play high on, which at first was a bit of a puzzle to me. I thought, wow, that's weird, isn't it? But kids are playing like their first ever G's, first ever high C's, one got his first ever high D. Then I started to think about it. And because this thing, it speaks really, really easily, very, very easy to make a sound on. Because it's so lightweight, it speaks really easy. So one of the things I found is that it's difficult to make a tone because it feels like your sound is sort of stopping in there, if that makes sense. Whereas when I'm playing on my regular trumpet, you know, you can feel like you're blowing through it a bit more. But it does mean the instrument is speaking really quickly and really easily. So that's probably why the kids are finding it a little easier to play high on. What am I not liking about it at the moment? I've now had it for half a week. I think, don't get me wrong, the blow, which I just mentioned, it's fine for like custom-made instrument for under 200 quid. It blows fine. I'm not sure it's the most in-tune instrument, particularly that D. Even the slide's not making that much difference. You can blow, it's very easy to blow anywhere on that. It doesn't slot define. I mean, I don't know why. I'm not a brass instrument maker. It does blow nicely in the sort of middle upper register. Also, the thing I found really weird at the moment, these, look, I didn't notice this when I first got it out. The water keys are on like upside down, so if you want to get the water out, you have to blow it everywhere. It's gross. I don't know why they're on that way up. That's weird, that is. Something that I'm also find weird because of adult hands and the way I hold the horn with the split fingers. The third slide kicks out. And for me, that puts it right in the knuckle where I normally want to hold the instrument. It's weird. It takes a bit of getting used to. Generally, they all love it. Parents have been quite impressed with it as well. So I'm not completely swayed myself, but it's not designed for me, is it? I'm not going to be taking this on gigs and doing whatever. Half of them still to go now as well. Let's see what they think. So I've had the pTrumpet for about a week now. Everyone's had a go on it. So I thought I'd do a little summary on my thoughts on it. So let's start with the things that are really, really good about it. It looks really cool. The valves are a great improvement. It sounds way better than I thought it would. It really, really does sound a lot better than I thought a plastic trumpet would and has done in the past. Interestingly, around all my students I took it to, the vast majority of them found it easier to play high on, which was something I wasn't expecting. I put that down to it being really, really light. Therefore, it speaks really quickly and really easily. Maybe that's something to do with it. But yeah, I wasn't expecting everyone to be able to play higher on it. That's amazing that it increases the range. I had people play their first high Cs, first high Ds, first Gs above the stave for people who are just like, they've been learning for a year. And that's really cool. Some of the weird stuff that exists with it, and quite a few of the kids have picked up on these things that are weird. So quite a lot of them have picked out that this tuning slide here, the third slide, that's weird, that it's like jotted out. It's a little uncomfortable for big hands. And while I think of that, while they've gone to the effort to make it easy to move and tune that third slide for youngsters, but we don't have one on here. Like, why not? If we've gone to that much effort, it's not going to be that much more effort to get one that we can move, or a trigger or something, a trigger system maybe. These water keys being upside down really bug me. I'm getting water everywhere when I'm blowing them out. I don't really like that. The lead pipe is quite flexible as well. So it could possibly do with another brace, or maybe a slightly thicker, sturdier brace maybe, to stop it moving around as much. It wouldn't add in comparison, because this thing is so light, it really wouldn't make a difference at all. I asked a load of the kids how much they thought it costs. Half of them were probably in the right ballpark, with the sort of 180, 200 pounds. But the ones who said it was way less, which was about half of them, sort of saying 50, 80 pounds. They probably don't have much idea of how much money really is. And the other point that some of them made was £200, yeah, okay, for a plastic trumpet, but that's double the amount that they spent on their intermediate level brass trumpets, which are second hand, or that they've just bought after they've rented them for a year or so. I get that things probably cost what they cost, but I don't know if a big piece of plastic costs that much. Maybe it's not aimed at the students that I have. Everyone I have is of secondary school age, so that's age 11 and up. Apart from one pupil, and he's the only one who didn't like it. So, I mean, I reckon these are probably marketed at beginners, and I can see it great for schools. You know, if you have a school that is willing to invest in 4 or 5, you could put on a class, which is quite cool. Interestingly, some of the parents I showed it to were thinking perhaps it would be useful for their sons and daughters who take their instruments into school for school band and things like that. And, you know, they go on their bike, they have to cycle over to school and things like that. So it's really light, so it helps with that. A couple of the kids don't like taking their really nice bark strads and things into school, just in case, you know, whatever happens when it's at school, you can't carry it with you all day at school. You've got to leave it in a cupboard in the music room and things like that. So some of them would consider getting these just to do band practice on, and then obviously when you've got concerts and things, you're going in your parents' car, you can take your Strad and things. But so that was something I'd not thought about them, some use I'd not thought about them before. So yeah, in general, I mean, I'm actually quite impressed with it. I wouldn't buy one myself. I don't teach enough in schools where a kid would forget his instrument for me to just buy one of these as a spare in case little Johnny forgets his instrument. I go and teach at people's houses, so they've always got their instrument there. And obviously I wouldn't use it for gigging and things like that, for some of the reasons I mentioned earlier on. But yeah, I'm suitably impressed with it. To finish off this little review of it, I'm going to play you something. And this is from my 10 Christmas duets for trumpet book, because we're getting to that time of year again now. So brass teachers out there, while you're thinking about whether to get your kids on the pTrumpet, there's a book, my duets, Christmas duets book, is available for download from my website, which will be linked in the description below, for just £5. You can't get a lot for £5 now. That's 50p per tune. You don't even get a Freddo for 50p. Yeah, here's a tune, so you can make your own minds up on what the pTrumpet sounds like. So I've just finished recording the duet you're about to hear. And I'm going to add a caveat to what I just said. I'm still not impressed with the intonation. You'll hear, actually, so going to be a couple of really good examples. I found it quite difficult to play in tune with myself on middle G's in the staff, you know. The notes don't quite center, obviously. I'm blowing where I think they are, and you'll be able to hear that they're not quite in the same place, even though it's the same player playing the same note 2.5 minutes apart. And actually, throughout the recording, you'll get bits of tune come back that are still in unison, and you'll hear some bits are more in tune than others, which tells me the intonation of the instrument is not quite as good as when I'm playing on my other brass instruments. But other than that, I am suitably impressed.